clap because me and Wilson, Gary Wilson was the only ones in there that was from this side. And landmark that to me is underused. Other than Christopher Williams, the young man that played basketball that had 2 successful heart transplants. Got a book out called Heart Warriors. We put this out into the nation. So when you Google Toyota, Roger Suggs, you see Wyandotte County. You see nothing but Wyandotte natives in these national documentaries. Am I right, Mr. Grant Lewis? Right. Lewis was on a call with us doing Zoom with the executives of Toyota, warning them about Wyandotte County. So young man, everybody, nobody can tell you, how old are you, young man? 18. Nobody can tell you at 18 what you're going to be at 25. No one. You write that. The people around you can influence you. They can believe you to the wall. But if they believe you to that wall, you got to bust through the ceiling and go further. If they think you be a good college player, you do got to go further. You have to have ferocious. That's what truth stands for. Truth, T-R-U-T-H, the reason you try harder. The truth should be the reason you try harder. So when we come out here, and I watch what Mo do, there's too many unsung people in the city. Too many. And that's what we got to start having, guys like him and other community people that come out here. This had to be more infectious than some superstar that come in this town and you pack the whole place up. There's got to be a believability in this city that we can do more than talk about the glory days. Because I hear the glory days, I had a long sit with Mr. Chester Owens. He told me all the great things about Wyandotte County in the heyday. They was third to, there was Harlem, Oakland, and then there was Kansas City, Kansas. There was entrepreneurship, black business, and all these different things and so on. What happened? What happened? We talk about what it used to do. We got to show these young people that they can write a new path. They can write a new path. So that's what we do with F.B.O.E. So I want the people to understand. So when Mo said, hey, can we do it? I said, yes. Bring it here. It's called Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Community college. Want to open the doors for them to bring young people here. Not just for recruitment, you want to come to recruit. This is the best kept secret school too. Anybody, you got to understand that part. But I ain't even here to do the shameless plug on that. But that's what F.B.O.E is about. We have students that we literally get in school to graduate, but you just can't graduate in my program. You also get your own LLC free. So that means you have your business and your business. So, and we use, and we cap it out with no more excuses after that. There's no way you can have an excuse. We help you get your business. We say, come on Thursday. And so we've been doing this for 15 years, still people don't know about it. Even though you can Google us and you see us all over the place. Matter of fact, we got something coming up with, every magazine did on the program because they heard about it. A speaker came and spoke and said, that's a program on a college campus. Y'all should check out. And he came and checked it out, Fox 4, all these different things. But my thing is, our people have to show up to support this guy, to support different people. You know, if not, we can use excuses. And I came here and they said, Roger, one day it's going to snow, next day it's going to be hot. That's Kansas City for you. So I accepted that. I got used to that. Now, there's more Midwest people complaining about the snow than me. I first came in with back-to-back blizzards. I said, what is this? Back-to-back blizzards. So, Grandma told me a long time ago, people do what they want to do. Do not get it twisted. They don't show up. Some people have legitimate reasons, but a lot of times people size you up. I'll get to that later. Because if I said, Pastor Mahomes is speaking with Moses today, you think this place will be packed? Yep. Yeah. So that tells you that people do what they want to do. They're all always look at the value. I see value of young people is high value because they're the future. And I think we take that lightly. They are going to be responsible for how we see this world. I'll be responsible. When I was in Georgia, when I moved down to Georgia with my grandparents, our great-grandmother was at the house until they couldn't take care of her no more. She was at the house. I got to watch my great-great-grandmother. So it's legacy. Everything. Your name. What's your last name, young man?
Bridge.
Bridge?
Bridge.
Okay. That means something, don't it?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Because parents, your parents, it means something. That's a legacy extended to that. And that's the thing I really want y'all to understand. That it's a legacy. Wyandotte County has a legacy. Can it be like the Buffalo Bills? Almost get there, but never get there. People that make it never come back. Why? Why do people that sometimes make it out here don't come back? Because you know what? It's young people that have these dreams, and we don't look at them. And guess what happens? They go somewhere else. The prophet's not accepted in their own home, right? They go somewhere else, and they support their dreams. So who do you think they got a solidarity to? The person that supported their dreams. So a lot of people don't come back here. We got to change that. We have to change that. I tell the young people. There was an old rap back in the days I used to listen to. He said, I wear black, I never wear purple. If I drew a line where I rule, you'll walk in a circle. What's happening now is too many of us, young and old, are walking in a circle. If I tell you, young man, and you, young man, I want you to get on the track. I want you to go 10 miles on the track. I want you to get on the trail and go 10 miles. The first one to get to Missouri, I got $100 for you. And y'all both got to do 10 miles. Who gets there first?
Go on the trail.
On the trail, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to be just as tired of him because they're both doing 10 miles. So that's what we do. Man, I'm trying my best, man. I am trying my best. I'm working hard. I'm doing everything I can to make it, man. I don't understand why I'm making it. I ain't made it yet. Because you're walking on a circle. Even that trail, if we walk just like this, you're still going to get further than the person in the circle. So please make trails. Be a trailblaze those trails, young man. Don't walk in a circle. The circle is the same thing when you come at home from college. Your same friends sitting on the same block, doing the same thing. That's them going, hey, man, good to see you. Boy, I see, man. This is something. It's no knock to them because they're working hard. They're working hard, but they're just in that circle. You have to get out that circle. You have to get out that circle, man, because there's greater things out there for you. There's greater things out there for you. You have to get out the circle. That's why they honor you now. That's why people that come, the community people, the adults that here, they are out of the circle to come support this and support you. That's out of the circle. And that's what we have to think about. We got to stay out of the circle and start doing a trail talk, even a little bit. Grandma used to tell me, if you just save, they'll tell you when you get a job. If you just let them take $10 out, they'll match you in stock. Oh, man, I need all my money. We're not thinking. We spend on all types of stuff. But what if you had to save that? See, the other thing I use is this. Insight plus foresight eliminates hindsight. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
One more time, please.
Insight plus foresight eliminates hindsight. Most people that live in hindsight talk about, oh yeah, man, I could have went pro. Yeah, I could have put that album out. Yeah, man, I used to do that so-and-so. That's hindsight living. You got to take the insight from that person there. Because if you're in hindsight, that means it's too late. Hindsight means it's too late. Oh, man, I should have picked this up, but you didn't. I should have saved this money. So you take the insight and then you have a vision with it. That's your foresight. I call it Channel 12 living. Channel 9 people is like the busy highway. Bum, 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 bum. That's Channel 9. Channel 12 is like going to California. You're on that long road, and every now and then you see a car go by you. Not much space and time to think. Those are LMPs, like-minded people. Keep yourself with like-minded people. Channel 12 living. Channel 9, because anytime you want to go back to Channel 9, they're going to be right there, bum, 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 bum. That's that block. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go channel 12. This means higher frequencies, higher things that you're trying to do in your life. That's what we do. When I walked on this campus, it was like this. You can do it on a Thursday. When we first did this on the campus, it was a test run. On the worst day you can do on school. On a Thursday, when school kids get ready, Thursday, Friday, ready to go to school. We made Thursday pop so much that everybody started doing their events on Thursday. Because we came here, no, it wasn't really the community, it was loaded with 50, before COVID, 50, 60, 70 students coming from the community. I brought Dr. Boyce Watkins here, I brought all kinds of national people here, and they came here for free. We had to pay for nothing. They came here for free because they couldn't really want this on campus. But it ain't about it's what the students did. They said, hey, we're gonna show it because we want the free LLC. We want our degree. We want to connect you. My thing is, in F.B.O.E., if you say you're an engineer and you're a freshman, while you're being a freshman, let me hook you up with an engineer. So think about that. If you hooked up as a freshman with somebody that you're trying to go to, guess what happens? When you lay down your resume and the regular person that took their class lay theirs down, who you think got the better chance of getting a job? It's about who you know too, right? So I try to challenge that thing. I try to change it. Like if you come in our program, if you're into music or if you're into something, let me hook you with somebody that's already made it. So I can at least give you the tips that you're going to do while you're taking your class. Don't be so robotic. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Or like the great coach Wooden say, be quick but don't hurt. Be quick but don't hurt. So that's what we do, and that's what it's all about. So I have to work with Moses because he's taking them even younger before they even get to 17, 24, 30 in my program. He's getting them before that. But we got to show them something. We got to show that we can show up to it. When they see their family, I had a kid that's now doing 20 years in prison. When he first got in this program, I used to tell him, hey man, stay focused. He used to want his daddy to just come see him. He wanted his dad to come support him. He had won something with our program. He wanted his dad to come. During that time, the Royals was just not getting ready to go to the World Series. They was in the playoffs. He said, man, I can't come, man. This is the first time. The Royals ain't been in the playoffs since 1985. And the look on his face when his dad didn't come said it all to me. You know what you do now? When I call him, or he calls me and then I answer, hey man, tell those people in F.B.O.E, man, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take nothing for granted. That's hindsight. That is hindsight. What's the old saying about hindsight? It's 20/20, ain't it? So please, young people, older people, take the insight, have the foresight, because vision is all we need to clear the path. Just because you got vision don't mean that everybody's going to see it. You have to have a belief beyond belief to do it. Thank y'all. Clap it up.
Can you turn the lights on?
Yes, you
I'm a
can.
little darker than you.
Go ahead. Hit the lights. Hit the light right there, right behind you. Yeah, right by the television. And for those I brought, one thing about F.B.O.E, we eat. I think we got just enough. We got some Go Chicken Go coming. It's on the way, all right? And it's in boxes because of COVID. And you get your own boxes, okay?
Okay, good evening. Thank you everyone for coming. This is what's called the Community Advocate Liaison to the Mayor's Office. Myself and with the illustrious J.D. Rios have been tasked to do a few things from the Mayor's Office. And one of the things that we have been tasked to do is to get the voice of the community, the youth, a real voice. We've noticed that in our community, a lot of times the youth, they don't come back. Post-secondary, they just leave. Why is that? Other communities, they come back. They invest in the community. Our mayor wants to know why that is and what can we do to change that so that our youth will be vested in our community and want to come back and build our community. So that's what this is. This is an opportunity for you as young adults to tell us. The best way for us to understand is to actually listen to you all. So that's what today is for. Today is for an opportunity to get that voice out and to find. We have 6 general topics that we'll speak about. We have some of our people from our community that's going to kind of lead the discussions for us. We try to ask that everyone, if you can come when you speak and question wherever, if you can do it from the podium, please. And then also, if you can limit your comments maybe to around 2 minutes so that everybody has the ability to speak and talk. So, yes, sir.
I just wanted to clarify. You want the people who are commenting to the moderator to come up to the podium to do so?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we like that because this is being live streamed, so we want them to be able to come up so that we can hear them, and then we can get the responses recorded. So we don't want to just hear it and we forget about it. We want to make sure that we understand it and then we get it back. Yes, sir.
What is this school to prison pipeline mean?
Yep, that's a good question, and Mr. Julius Brownlee is going to explain that. Okay? All right, so thank you. So for our first one, Mr. Julius Brownlee is going to facilitate our first discussion. All right, good evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good evening.
My name is Julius Brownlee. I am a proud graduate of Wyandotte High School, a 1993 graduate of Wyandotte High School. Bulldog? Bulldog. So, a proud citizen of Wyandotte County. I take it everywhere that I go, and I've been a lot of places, and a lot of people know that I represent the northeast sector of Wyandotte County to the fullest. My question, oh man, your foot scared me. I was just like, what is that? I was going to check out. All right, y'all hear me? So, the first thing that I want to talk about is juvenile justice and the prisoner pipeline. So, how do you explain it? And BPC. There are systems in this country that are not really equitable for certain people. And because of these systems, what ends up happening is that every time there's an infraction done by one of these people, their punishment really doesn't fit the infraction. And it's just setting up, these systems are setting them up to go to jail, in prison, and not be successful. So what we want to do in the community now and through this discussion is figure out ways that we could eradicate this prison to pipeline. Just a quick fact to explain it to you. The New York City Public Schools Police Department, hear what I said? Is the largest police department in the nation. That's a fact. You can Google that. Why is that? Why do they have a holding facility in a high school in Nashville, Tennessee? Why is that? And I can get really, really deep, but I don't want to get really, really deep because I know Moses don't want me to talk about it, but I can really, I mean, it's like, why do certain schools look a certain way? Why do they look like jail facilities? When you go out to other parts of the community, you don't see that. They don't look like that. So what we want to do is give you a fighting chance. We want to leverage the playing field so that, you know, when things happen, because things happen. We're not perfect. We all get in trouble. But we want to make sure that when things happen and these systems that we have to help us and educate us are educating us in the right way and making sure that we're productive citizens and that we're not always the people that you see behind bars. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, how do we stop the school to prison pipeline? Some of the things that we want to look at are, and I had to write this down, look, are the barriers, the needs, and the concerns. And I'm going to write it down on this fancy dancy board here. Don't laugh at my chicken scratch. So, anybody want to start? Barriers, needs, and concerns.
Let's talk.
Carl, go ahead to the, come up to the podium. And will you say your name for?
I'm Carwin Cooper. Whenever I read that, it's juvenile justice and positive youth development. How do we stop the school to prison pipeline? You said the concerns and stuff?
Yeah, Barry, or just,
Barriers?
yeah.
I think it goes a little bit deeper than school. I think it starts before school. And before you go to school, you come from home. I think before the problem starts at school, it starts at the home. Children that aren't raised right usually don't have as much of a successful future as those who have a better upbringing. I think whenever babies are born, they're not born evil, they're not born with hate, they're not born misled, they're not born misguided. They experience that as kids. And so I think before they enter the school, I feel like they should have a proper upbringing before they enter society. Because a good citizen can't have an upbringing that raises someone with such hate in their heart.
Anybody else? Anyone?
Hudson Bell. Kind of going off of what Carwin said, maybe also like a lack of parenting in the early life. Like they don't have the right figure to try to bring them up and give them that early start that they need to be just as successful as everybody else. And so I think what Carwin said, that it comes back off of before you even get to school. Because I know some of the best people in my life have been guides outside of the home life. So.
I got any barriers? Come up to the podium.
Even though there are homes where you can raise your child, with a loving family, sometimes it helps to also have the teachers and the role models, the else. It's not just the income. Sometimes it takes somebody that looks like you or somebody that's like you, that can be the representation in the classroom. So that's what I think can be a good trickle factor.
Good evening. I'm Donald Paul Jones, community member from Wyandotte County. I noticed a lot of people didn't take their full 2 minutes, so I figured by the third person I could probably go over a little bit if I did. I feel a kind of way about it. And I typically, what I focus on, my area of expertise and training comes in more of a psychological space, the discussion about mindsets. And I think that something that really influences this as an issue that gives it fuel is the lack of acknowledgement about the socialization that happens within the education itself. Like what we teach children, what we actually teach them, I think contributes heavily to the fact that they believe that what their outcomes are. So the way that they're teaching various subjects, and I do have a background in education, so I've been in the classrooms a little bit, but I just feel like sometimes students don't actually graduate feeling like they have many choices other than to be highly successful or highly unsuccessful. I don't know if they really understand where the middle ground is. I don't know if they really understand how to position themselves, and I don't think they actually are being taught the grave nature of what is out there for them if they don't seize opportunity or don't find opportunity or aren't presented with an opportunity. So learning about different subjects like slavery, learning about what the prison, school-to-prison pipeline is one of those things that might very much deter a child from wanting to be part of it. But if things are kind of made light, maybe you don't understand that there is an absolute train that is going to run you over if you get caught up on the tracks. And that was something that came from good parenting, so the young man talks about that. I had that. That was my benefit. That was my blessing, right? But for those who don't have somebody that's going to tell you what's really real, and are going to just make all of these things 1 or 2 weeks, or maybe 1 or 2 lessons in the classroom, you don't understand that there is somebody who stands to not only, oh man, they're literally going to profit. Their industry is literally fueled by your free labor as a prisoner. So, no, it ain't that we just want to get young black boys caught up, or young anybody caught up, right? Disempowered, disenfranchised peoples, right? But we actually need you to get caught up, because I got this contract with Gap Clothing, and I know that my actual market share and my profit margin is dependent upon free labor. And I can pay the prison to get 100,000 people to make my clothing for cents on the dollar. That's what I need you for. And you got skills. Y'all part of F.B.O.E? Okay, cool. That means you got some hands-on skills. I can use that in my prison, which is a privatized organization. So I think what would greatly impact that not being so devastating is to really just get real with it. You can't hide from young people anyway. They have the internet. They're doing their own searches. They know what's what. You might as well talk to them the way it is. Hey, I don't want to keep you in a box, but if you get too far to the left, there's something over there for you that you don't want. Get too far to the right, there's something else over there for you. I don't want you in a box, but if you stay in this lane, that's actually young people terminology, Brother JB. If you stay in your lane, you are more likely to succeed and not fall to the pitfalls that surely await you. And so unfortunately, I don't think young people really are taught or understand that the game is designed for them to fail the way it is now. As good as the resources are, for every Brother Roger who's got an F.B.O.E, there's somebody who has another organization with backing that is designed to see you fail. And we don't want to make it a horror story. We don't want to rain on your parade, but it's really real out here. And I know that that's not a subject in the 9 weeks of the first quarter in school. But, maybe conversations like this is where you find it. I don't know where you go to get those conversations, but I think that being really real in the education we're giving, affecting the education that we're giving itself, might have a positive impact on that as a thing that's happening in our society. That's all. That was about 2-3 minutes.
My name's Josh Criswell. Just to go back and clarify the school to prison pipeline. When those companies are looking at creating a new facility, right? How do you know how many beds to put in a new prison? Anybody got a rough idea? Now, this was back in a while, when I was y'all's age or younger, but it was looking at reading levels in the 3rd grade. It's how they would determine how many prison beds, or how large the facility should be when they're looking at creating a prison 20 years down the road. Your performance in the 3rd grade statistically could dictate whether or not you were going to end up in prison or not. So that's what the pipeline is. They don't give a crap about playing football. They don't care about your grades. Can you read at 3rd grade level? If you can't, probably don't have a bed for you. That's what that's about.
So my name is Max Mendoza. I run a youth agency, and I'm also a juvenile justice advocate. I have a background from being system involved. One of the things, school to prison pipeline is definitely one of my passion areas. And I think for youth, it's hard because when you have youth that are coming to school and you're expecting on youth to be able to focus on their education, this is one of my favorite sayings. You can't read a book while running from a lion. And these kids are dealing with all kinds of lions in their lives. Where's my next meal? Are my parents, parents might be using drugs. They have so many barriers and it's so multi-level. And I think sometimes we put too much pressure on the schools to take care of those things. And so breaking those generational cycles that feed into that. Because a lot of times I can tell you just from my own experience, My siblings are repeating the same cycles that my parents. My parents were repeating those same cycles. We don't know what we don't know. And if we don't have the skills to change our behavior or to know which paths to go down, we repeat what we see. And I think that's where having those tools like character development, there's 3 focus areas in my programming that we work on. It's self-awareness, self-development, and social responsibility. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you want to be and where you want to go. You have to have the skills to be able to create an action plan. And modern academia is not set to give us those schools. We go to get an education, but we aren't taught how to be a person. And we find ourselves repeating what we've seen and what we've learned. So I think that's a real important when you start addressing these issues too, is how do we provide those skills for young people? Another thing I just kind of want to touch on too is the trauma of it. If anybody's familiar with ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, those affect how we think, how we respond to situations. How do we get over those? How do we build resilience to be able to move forward? So I don't know if I hit my 2 minutes, but I can go on forever on this kind of stuff.
Mr. Rios, he'll let you know if he hits you 2 minutes.
Oh, he will? That's what I thought. I have a tendency to get on the soapbox.
My name is Darian Gates, and basically on the basis of the school-to-prison pipeline, I want to touch on the design of the school day itself. Basically, at school you sit in a desk for multiple periods, hour and a half. There's no interaction with other children and students in your classroom almost. And as for, if you have to go to the restroom, you must get consent and a hall pass. And I think this kind of can relate to, you're always being controlled. And basically, I don't know, basically, yeah.
Can I ask him a question while he's at the podium? Do you mind, brother? You was almost out of there. I just wanted to know, what does that impact? What do you feel? How do you feel that impacts you?
Can you come back here? Now, can you repeat the question so the other people may hear?
My bad, man. Like I said, you're doing great, man. Sorry about that, Brother Gates. I just wondered, with that type of structure of your school day and how it's set up, what do you feel that that's teaching you or even taking away from you?
It's teaching you bad habits, and it's taking away the ability to socialize in a positive way with your students, with the other kids in your classroom. And basically it's, it's kind of molding, from school to prison, it's kind of molding that daily schedule. And it's a really bad idea. It's a really bad structure of the day. And I think it resembles a lot to prison as well. So
I have a question. So what would you change in the day? What would you like to see? What would change that for you or for other students? What's the day look? What would you like to see the day look like in school? More what, less what?
Less like sitting at a desk, more getting up, standing around the classroom and actually like physically interacting with the other students, and
So like free classroom,
more
like free
freedom,
space?
more freedom in the day, less like, time constraints. You have to do this at this time, you have to go to lunch at this time, you have to, they tell you when you can come and then they tell you when you can leave, and then you have to get consent for every action. You can't just, they can pretty much tell you when you want to go to the restroom, I think we need less control and kind of more freedom, if that answers the question.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? I was hoping you was gonna talk on this one now.
Kind of give you a perspective on the police department's part and what we have to deal with. Before I retired from the KCK Police Department, I ran a program called the OK program. I'm going to start that in the schools. The OK program is designed for a black officer to go into a middle school, start the program in the middle school, and follow the kids all the way through middle school onto the high school. And what happened is, I was working at Coronado, and what would happen, like Ragsdale gave me authority, instead of these kids getting suspended, they would come to me, and I would work them back into the classrooms. And before I left, I had 300-something kids into the program, and most of the kids that work with us, they were successful, and we had parents like Strauss and the other guys. They would come. We did every Saturday, we gave the kids something to do on Saturdays. We took them to the movies. We played ball with them. We did things with them. And getting black men to come in to work with our black boys. The problem is, we got to the point where black men stopped working with kids, or they were afraid to say something to these kids, and that became a problem. We needed the black men to step up and say, hey, you ain't doing right, or pull your pants up, or start acting right in the classroom. Because when they would act up in the classroom, I go sit in the classroom, and then they would start acting right. But these kids just needed somebody to care about them in the schools, because a lot of times they wouldn't get it at home. But if we could kind of see and tell them we care about them in the school and show them, it really made a big difference. The program is, because of COVID, I think, it's kind of not doing anything. But we need to get these black officers in these schools working with these kids again. I work in Fairfax now, and if you notice, I'm supposed to have the worst kids in the district. As you notice, you don't hear anything about Fairfax. Once they get out there, we show them we care, we work with them, and we don't have problems with them. We help them get through school. So I'm just kind of giving the perspective of the police department and what can be done. The chief up there, he's a good chief now. We need more. He needs to designate more officers in each school to work with these kids.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, we appreciate it. Just one closing part of that. I've worked in the school district for 24 years now. I'm going into my 24th year. And it is a proven fact that youth, kids, emulate what they see adults doing confidently. The more adults in their lives that they see doing positive things, the more chance that they will pick that up. So it is true. There's a statistic from those incarcerated from the age of 13 through 16, and they asked, what would have deterred them? And 32% of them said having a positive adult in their life would have deterred the choices that they make. So it is true that we need more men who look like our students to be involved in our students' lives. We're not knocking the mothers, because mothers do a great job, but we need more men. There's statistics from the Department of Education that show that when men are present in the academic setting, that behavior improves, attendance improves, grades improve. So that's part of what a lot of our organizations here, the Jenna Club is an organization hosting this. Friends Benefits of Education. Roger, we appreciate you coming, allowing us to be a part of this. Max Mendoza, his Heartland 180. It's a lot of organizations that do some similar things, but we don't have enough volunteers. We need more men to give up their time. All right? It's our responsibility to build our community. And the only way we do that is by making sure we have enough people to do it. All right? So, Brother JB, thank you very much. All right. We are going to move to our second topic. We're going to take it over here and move in. And there's Grant Lewis, the Honorable Grant Lewis. I've been asking for his autograph for about 2 weeks. Won't let me get it. He's nationally known. We are fortunate to get Brother Grant Lewis here to talk to us. JB,
you got the mic too?
you know, to get that microphone. I know you wanted to sing us a song. I know you can do that a little later for us. You know. We might get you and Mr. Official to give us something together, something, you know, maybe.
Watch out now.
Thanks, sir.
All right, so
Appreciate
thank you
brother.
very much.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, it's terrible. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, okay. I feel a little better now. My name is Grant Lewis. I am a 1996 graduate of Wyandotte High School.
Cool,
All
dog.
right. Mr. Rios was my teacher at Central Middle School, so I feel like family in the room today. So my responsibility today is to talk about STEAM. And I've been working in engineering for 21 years now over at Honeywell. And so what we've done in the community is try to make sure young people have opportunity to grow in STEM and make sure they have opportunity to connect with professionals, connect with people who are doing these careers, and be able to give them opportunity to connect earlier, to give them opportunity to grow a career or trade. And so why this is important is because we look around our surrounding communities, we see that we have, they have robotics, they have First Lego Leagues, they have a bunch of opportunities for students. And why it's important is because it's been proven that young people that are involved in STEAM activities graduate at a higher rate, have better scores in science and math, and also graduate from college and trade schools more efficiently because of those opportunities. It starts at a young age though, not in high school. It starts when these young people are in elementary school and start taking these courses and taking these outside school programs and outside programs, doing with STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and those type of things that support that, and they'll grow into a career. Now, STEAM isn't for everybody, right? Everybody's not going to do that career path, but there's some young people will take that career path on by them because they started at an early age. And so what we want to talk about today is a little bit to see what your response is, what your thought is around it, the barriers we have around it, successes we have with that, some failures we have with that, but also some barriers we have with that, and advancing the STEAM progression in Wyandotte County. I've been here for years. I brought some things over to the community college, been over to the high schools, some of the middle schools, and with STEAM activities and trying to encourage young people in 8th grade to enroll into STEAM, engineering into the 9th grade. We've done a lot of that with girls and young people as well. But what can we do more? What things can we do more in the county to help our young people to take on this progression and be able to go into middle school, high school, and then when they graduate, be able to find themselves better prepared to go into four-year colleges and graduate fully through. One thing we see a lot of is young people going to college but not finishing because of grades and things of that nature. So what can we do around the STEAM atmosphere to progress our young people in Wyandotte County? So we want to capture that today and what you have to offer with that. Please come to the mic and talk about it. I'll try to capture it on this board here. But what can we do in Wyandotte County? First of all, successes, failures, and also barriers that we have.
We'll start with Mr. Ron Briggs Jr.
All right, hello everyone. My name is John Briggs. A little bit about me. I go to Piper High School. I'm a senior. I used to go to Sumner Academy, 8th grade, 9th grade year, and transferred my freshman year. And starting off, I want to kind of piggyback off of what Mr. Lewis has said, how everyone wouldn't want to participate in STEAM, right? So a couple ideas that I feel like would help better like schooling is like how like field trips could be used as like offered to kids to allow them to go see different things and see, like, you know, explore, like, what they would like to do or whatnot. Because growing up, like me growing up, I had that ability to go do that outside of school, but not within the school. Because you know how kids mainly look up to older kids and kids that are around each other. Because most kids, when you hear things from adults, it's not like they really believe or take in consideration, like, no disrespect, but it's not like they like, oh, like, they got more ability than what a normal kid the same age as I am would have. So, like, for example, kids could go to a field trip and they come back and sort of, you know, have like a school presentation, a model, you know, social media. Kids love social media nowadays, so they could create a video or something just to reach off and share different ideas of what they experienced to kids younger than themselves, which will give them a better idea. Because then kids seeing other kids doing what they could possibly do will give them like more self-confidence versus seeing an adult do it. Because they'll look up to more of the kid side and be like, oh, I could like just like him. Like, he's not that much older than me. We have the same abilities, same limitations and everything. And now we'll like allow them to, you know, get a better idea of what they would want to do in life or see in their future.
Anyone else? Come on up.
I think a better way for people to get interested in STEAM is by basically just giving them space to think and not just be stressed about other things in life, like their parents getting a divorce or parents arguing, and also just have a better mindset, not like a bad mindset, thinking I can argue with this, it's way easy, or having a growth mindset, this might be hard, or I can try it my best. And also,
Keep it coming, keep it coming. Keep it coming.
my name is Malachi Terry. That person right there is my dad.
Where did he go to school?
Lindbergh.
Hi, y'all, it's me again. I'm Carwood still. This question directly links to what I want to do in life. I want to go into marine biology and nautical engineering. And whenever I tell people that, they have sort of a shocked look on their face. I mean, you don't look around and see any oceans in Kansas. I mean, we're a pretty rural place. And they just simply don't know anything. And ignorance is a plague. And I feel like Jerron said, getting to know that things like that are out there is very important. Pushing the severity of how much we need our engineers and we need our people that specialize in science and engineering, I feel like that would be very productive for us, just to push how much we genuinely need the people to know about what kind of engineering jobs are out there and how much we need them.
Let me stop. How do you think we fix that problem then? Especially our youth in White House?
I mean, take it to classrooms, in my opinion. I think that's really pushed. Something that sticks out to me is at school, we're pushed to do our internal assessments that are by the districts, and it takes up a lot of our time. But instead of pushing statistics and internal things like that, we should push how important it is to save the environment, or how important it is to have people that specialize in different jobs, like I said before. It's just, like, again, in the classrooms, reiterating, instead of the, like, statistical, mechanical things, you specialize, you specify the things that are needed to genuinely keep the world turning.
Got it.
I think going off of what Carwin said, one of the best ways that I feel like as an education system we can kind of put STEM into the students is not as much to the classroom. Like, yes, we want it in the classroom, but like I feel a lot of the times the programs that we have in the classroom are the standard programs, and they're not as cool or as interesting as going out. And I think that's where the education system and the community kind of needs to improve, is providing more options for the students to go out and see what these jobs actually look like to see what they have the possibility of going out and actually doing throughout the community. And I feel like that will help push students to be more interested in that continuing on and doing these things.
Question. So if they gave you a pot of money, say $1 million, what would you do in the community to build something to do that particular purpose?
Well, there are engineers and other programs like that around here that we can take students to, and I know kids work jobs and all that stuff, but we can do it during the school day, that type of stuff, and having that type of funding, you can do that. But you can also start to like build areas like even within schools that can be more like specialized for like doing labs and kind of modeling a little bit of like what it would actually be like rather than just reading out of the textbook and taking quizzes and just learning the old-fashioned way.
I have a question for you. You said one thing, student work. You mentioned several different places, like after school, the weekend, summertime. What do you think if the internship, when you were going out and getting this real world learning, if that was your job, if it was a paid internship, would that work?
That would absolutely work. Because my brother did one through the school, and he's in college studying, going on about more of what they taught him. And I feel like, one, if like a kid needs to help their parents with a financial burden, just going and like being able to see if they're interested in this earlier on, than rather later in life when they realize it's not their thing, and getting paid to do it as when they're still a kid is a really helpful experience for them.
Provide life skills.
How about Alex?
Hello, everybody. My name is Alex. I go to Sumner Academy. So I feel like a barrier we have in our community is there's not like a lot of people around us, like really close relatives that have that can be a mentor to us. Because like for me, I don't have family. Like I have a sister, older sister that's in college right now, but she's not working in her career field yet. So she's not someone that can fully mentor me yet for what kind of job I want to work in the future. And like a lot of students that want to work in STEAM related careers, they don't have somebody that can mentor them or tell them a little bit more about the jobs or what that career is like. And I feel like if we have more of that one-on-one connection with students to like family or students to mentors or anybody really, then it'll help a lot more gain interest for those students to join a STEAM-related career or internship or job.
Question. What's your career you're trying to go into?
I want to study kinesiology at MNU.
Right, where?
MNU.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
So get with me. I'll get you a mentor. Make sure we connect you with somebody so we can have a professional mentor.
Okay.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
How about Jocelyn?
Hello, I'm Jocelyn. I'm a junior at Sumner Academy. I think a big issue is I, for one, didn't know much about STEAM until like maybe 6th, 7th grade. So I think starting younger, maybe like elementary school, that could be more beneficial for us. And not just that, but at Sumner Academy, we offer different programs outside of school that we can go and like learn more about different fields, engineering and technology and stuff like that. But I think it needs to be like expanded more than just our school in the district, and it needs to be expanded across all schools of all levels. That way, kids of younger ages can learn more about those different types of fields, and they can get an idea of like what they may want to pursue in the future.
You let her get off without an extra question?
Well, I was going to say something, but then they have part of Lead the Way is what they use in Wyandotte County. And so it has, it's in Missouri too, they have engineering as part of it. And so, which also covers some other health and business, stuff like that. So I think those schools have it. Now, how well they utilize it is the question. I worked with Schlegel and Wyandotte before, and so I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't think Washington's utilizing it, or there wasn't before, not for sure. Can't remember if Harmon was using it or not, but that's what they are. Now, the robotics teams they have at the schools, like Wyandotte has one, Harmon has one, Sligo has one. Those teams are after schools, and those teams are students that sacrifice time and time and everything to chat at school to build these robots to compete. They have a competition coming up here in March. Now, I believe Wyandotte County is going to be mostly participating in the Olathe region competition. And so I'll be at that to support, because why? Diversifying the volunteers that are out there. Because we don't have a lot of volunteers that look like our students out in these areas. So they are doing some as well. They're doing well as Sumner. I don't know for sure about that. I don't know how well Sumner's doing, really, real talk. It's just, there are some out there, other schools out there. How well they're doing right now might be questionable.
Hello, everybody. You guys hear me?
Yes.
My name is John Borger. I am the head of the computer science department at Sumner Academy. I work out of the Sumner Makerspace, where we work in STEAM. And I am the head boys and girls soccer coach at Sumner Academy. We have some of our athletes here tonight who are sharing with us. And biggest thing I want to talk about is we go and train at soccer practice. We're starting the girls soccer season next Monday. And after we train, we have authentic assessment. We go and we have a game versus Wyandotte, okay? We win, right? Sabres win, yes? Yeah? You agree? Yeah, Josh, you got it? Okay. But we go and we have authentic assessment, and that's what we need to continue to push in all of our programs, okay? Even if it's not a STEAM program, we have to push for authentic assessment. So our engineering students, Alex is in engineering, he makes a program, or he creates a file, he makes a model. He gets to go with our engineering teacher, Mr. Jeremy Todd, and they meet with like a KU group maybe and like show off their model that they made, right? Or they make a pitch in the business program for entrepreneurship, and then they pitch it to somebody. We have to continue to get outside the classroom. DJ was talking about just kind of the rigidity and the structure of some school. We have to continue, especially for our high school programs, to try and work in and push on the administration the importance of flexibility, allowing students to get out and get internships. We have kids that do a Tech Impact program where they get outside of Sumner and Wyandotte and Harmon, and they go and learn other skills, and then they go out to Cerner and have an internship. We've had kids that have gone straight through school, gotten a full ride computer science to K-State or KU, done the paid internship, gotten a $60,000 to $80,000 job straight off at Cerner, and are set straight from, instead of like, we talked about the pipeline earlier that we see a lot in our community. Instead, we're setting up a pipeline where they're going from their experiences at his age straight through, okay? We have to continue to invest in the people who are here for our kids. Moses Wyatt has been here consistently for our kids at all different levels of our school district, and I've seen that myself, work with him and others. We have to continue to invest in consistency for our kids. And if we do that, we're going to see great outcomes. And yeah, thank you for having us tonight. Thank you. You have a question for me?
Great. Hey, I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Can I go again?
Yeah, you can go anytime you want to.
Okay.
I want to hear your voice. That's what we're here for.
Another thing about that, not about the thing that you said. There might be like kids in your class that might be like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Or like, don't do that. You're going to annoy me or something. And they just make you feel down, so you might not want to do this subject because they say you can't do it because you're such a loser or something. And then whenever you actually do it, you're like, oh, this is easy. But another thing I want to cover is about the word yet. A ton of people say, I can't do this, it's too hard. But they can include yet to it, and they said, I can do this, I can't do, it's too hard, but I can not do this yet. Or another thing is about like better counseling. They might think that that fair means something like somebody gets something and they don't. But fair actually means somebody getting something to get what they need to learn. And yeah, that's all I need to say.
I got you. I got you.
And also, did I state that I'm a fourth grade?
You in fourth grade?
Fourth grade.
Man, you acting like an eighth grader right here, right now, man. I like it. I like it. Not afraid at all. Okay. Didn't mean to move on a
Anyone
little
else before we change to our next discussion topic? Thank you,
bit.
Grant.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
So we're going to have Kofi Duwa, who is the counselor at Grant Elementary School, and then also is one of our founders of our Jenna Club, our Boys to Men Sisterhood program that are at Grant Elementary.
Okay. Thank you guys for letting me facilitate this conversation with you guys tonight. The one we are going to facilitate is how do we improve our parks and recreation availability, programs, and organization. When I actually started at Grant 4 years ago, I'll admit I was kind of naive because I assumed, there was sports leagues in the community and stuff like that. And I remember hearing stories of, oh, we don't have enough coaches for some of these leagues, or our kids don't have transportation for some of these leagues and sports. And I just was kind of in shock because growing up, that wasn't even a question. Or even, do we have after-school programs in the community for our kids to go and join? So I just want to hear your guys' thoughts as far as what do we do? How do we improve our parks and recreation? And then how, through that, our barriers, our needs, and our concerns. Anyone want to start? Oh, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Angeline Howe, and I think accessibility is some of the problem in our community. There's a lack of community centers. There's a lack of parks that have basketball courts. There are lack of swimming pools available for our kids to take swimming lessons. I don't know if there's not enough teachers out there to teach the swimming classes, but I know when I was growing up, the Red Cross offered them there at Wyandotte for free, and we don't even have that anymore. And so I think a lot of the problems with our kids playing the game all the time is they don't have anything else to do, nowhere else to go. They, the parents are not swimmers, they're not athletes. They want their kids to be athletes, but there's nowhere for them to be an athlete. I know my daughter's in high school now, and night for after school basketball. JFK, which is now Beatrice Lee, used to be open. And the problem I've heard is that there's loopholes. You gotta go through this person in order to get the center. You gotta pay this fee to get the center. You have to have a coach that's registered with whoever the administrator is over Parks and Recs now. And so there's all these obstacles that keep our kids out of participating and being the great players that we used to have. And there's no outside courts anymore that I know of. I haven't seen any, not even in Parkwood, and I live right next to Parkwood. There's a tennis court, but who plays tennis? I mean, I'm just being honest. We used to play, but I'm just saying, we have a court there, but it's not functional because nobody's playing tennis, nobody's outside. Nobody has a racket. I know my minutes is up, but I'm just saying, we as parents, as a community, have to start demanding more for our kids and not all the loopholes and obstacles that's put in front of us. And until we get past that, we're still be staying right here where we are, nowhere.
More flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's good. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh.
One of the things that I heard her say, and right now, F.B.O.E is going to make sure that they're passing out meals to our young ones. You just don't eat that ground, just eat it when you leave. We appreciate it. So one of the things I want to make sure that we get on there that she said, and reiterate what she said, is the fact that the accessibility, having to go through one person. Is that what you said? You said the accessibility of being able to rent the gym. Now you have to go through one specific person.
Oh, you have to go through, it's multiple, it's layers. I mean, we can't just call up and say, can we use this facility for, this particular group of men?
Right.
It's a fee here, and it might not be a fee there. It's just crazy.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
I don't understand how a community center that belongs to the people, you can't get access to that.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it was not accessible. It used to be, before you could just go right to that center and ask the person, the manager, supervisor there, and they could get you into the gym. Now, it's a lot of big different tapes. You got to run through different people. It's not accessible. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we heard that and we got that down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think to improve our parks and recreation centers, we need to think less about COVID, about if you get it, you're going to be very sick and probably die. You should probably think about if you're going to get it, you're going to get mildly sick, but lowest chances of dying. Because, for example, once when we were going to the Crown Center to see a black violin concert, when I was with my dad, when we were going to the place to check in, I finally got there with my dad, and then they asked us, do you have a vaccination card or a negative COVID test card? Which I didn't have a negative COVID test, but my dad had a vaccination card. So we had to drive. So we had to drive all the way out from the Crown Center to the nearest pharmacy, and then all the way back to the Crown Center. The Black Violin concert already started, and then we got in, but we still had a fun time. And the next thing, let's not think about 6 feet so you don't get COVID. You should think about at least social distancing, so you don't just think that 6 feet you're not going to get COVID, but at least 1 feet, that's when you're going to get prone to definitely have COVID. Because once at school, somebody at my school had COVID that sat right next to me at school, and it was a lunch. But the next day he got COVID, and the school got news of it, so I had to quarantine in my dad's bedroom, but I didn't have COVID.
No, it's good. I like that. I like thinking about COVID in that sense. Absolutely. Go ahead, sir.
I'm back again. I don't know if I mentioned the first time, but I'm a sophomore at Sumner Academy, and I don't know if this relates exactly to our school. It might, but basically, I want to talk about the facilities. I play organized club soccer out in Johnson County in Olathe, and seeing all of those complexes and facilities and resources that the kids out there have compared to resources that the children in the inner cities and just all over, not even Wyandotte County, but just, every inner city in America, they don't have the complexes and the resources really to begin with. And the children in the suburban areas are given way more to begin with. They're given a massive head start. I shouldn't necessarily have to go and travel 30 plus minutes for club soccer. And there should be more programs down here so we can give the kids a head start from elementary age and get black youth into those activities.
Could I ask you just a quick question? When you think of soccer fields, like you said you play in Olathe here, what are some differences that you see that make the difference that you think we could bring up here to the community?
In what sense?
Like, think about in terms of maybe the grass or the soccer goals, or is there something that's better in Olathe that we could use in Wyandotte County? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we could input more turf fields because we have a few athletic complexes here. Like we have the Adrian Robertson complex on 9th Street, and we have a few baseball fields and whatnot, but it's just not enough. And basically, another thing is, we need to get more black youth in other sports, and we need to kind of defy the stereotype of just football and basketball. Because I got into soccer by being out there immersed to different cultures out in Johnson County with some of the suburban kids, and that's how I started playing soccer. And I think we just need to, another thing with the head starts and the complex, we need to be exposed to different sports and not just the stereotypical football and basketball and track meets. I didn't have a ton of examples of black youth in the inner city playing soccer, like at all. So it doesn't have to be soccer. It could be baseball. It could be, I don't know, new sports like lacrosse or something like that. We need to kind of broaden the sports that we're playing in general. So, yeah.
Agree. Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
I would concede to the youth, the young man, if he had a,
yes,
because I'm gonna talk some OG talk when I get up here on this subject. I'm gonna let the young man.
I was saying, go back to what Darian said, that we don't have the same facilities that we have. Like, I know our other high schools have turf fields and stuff like that, but not always do they have access to it. And I'm a junior at Seminary Academy, and like, we don't have a turf field to even practice or play on. So like, it rains and that type of stuff. We don't have a place to really train or practice as much as the other schools here, but also in the inner city where they have like 2, 3, 4 fields that they can use like whenever they want, and they're like nice. We don't have the same facilities, and even inside our school we have a very small weight room, but nothing that matches to what the other schools have everywhere else. And our athletes, like, we try our best, but like compared to them, we don't have the same resources, and we are lacking. And it sucks to see for us, because it's not that we're not talented, because our schools are very talented. It's just that we don't have all the opportunities that they are given. We don't have those opportunities here for us to be just as good as them.
That's good. Sorry.
So, how do we change it? How do you see this need to change?
Having like more open facilities, like community centers. Like the only place I know where kids go and play basketball are like at the YMCA, but like you have to really have a membership to go do that. And I know some of the outside basketball courts that I knew, like they cut the nets off and stuff like that, and the rims, they took the rims off because of COVID. And so they took away our opportunities to go out and do other things. So I think that we need to bring those opportunities back and like have fields open, because I know like we've gone and practiced at Wyandotte field sometimes on our own time, but those fields aren't really open for people to go on. And so I think our high schools, we have nice fields, but there's also community centers and other stuff, and I think we need to open that up to our youth. So that, like, if there are problems going on home and other stuff, we have a way that we can go somewhere to get out of it and kind of enjoy being a kid.